Hi, it's Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to take a look at a ultra budget set of actually very decent headphones from a brand you've probably never heard of, but I strongly suggest you actually keep a look out for them because they've got some really interesting stuff. Starting with these, this is the Picun F6. This is a USB Type-C powered, low-cost ANC Bluetooth headset which incorporates some funky 3D sound technology and also has some bizarre head tracking technology also, which is a little bit jarring when you first use it, but it's actually pretty cool as well. Also supports Bluetooth 5.4, so Bluetooth low energy mode, high-res certified, and has an absolutely crazy battery life. We've got a 1000 mAh battery in here, which will give you anywhere up to around about 120 hours of playback time. Yes, 120 hours. That is phenomenal. Now these were actually very kindly sent in to us for review by the good man that is Ugly Bob, so thank you very much Ugly Bob. Ugly Bob's currently on his holidays, and actually these would have probably been perfect companions to take on holidays, and we'll find out why when we go through the unboxing and look at some of the accessories. So let's start off with that. So actually packaging wise, first of all, very reminiscent of the kind of very Apple-esque type box design here. As you can see, we've got the logos and all that kind of stuff on here. Very plain, very minimal, and on the back, even more like Apple, it does come in 5 flavors. So you've got the white, you've got the silver, you've got the kind of reddy color, the black, or charcoal black I suppose you'd call it, and also there is a pale blue, should that take your fancy. So available in any of those colors. We've got the kind of charcoal gray one here today, and as you can see, it comes with this very nice protective cover or case, so you can take this on your travels and know that your headphones aren't going to get damaged, or you can just chuck it in your backpack, whatever it is. If you're maybe going out on a walk, whatever, you can take this with you should you wish to, although you don't necessarily need to because they are actually pretty comfy. You could wear them on your head all the day and you wouldn't really notice it. So yeah, pretty nice case there, and even nice little kind of gold accents on the zipper. Opening up the case, you can see we've got the headphones in here, which are folded flat to make them a little bit smaller. It also comes included with a owner's manual, which tells you what all the buttons do, and it is in a variety of languages, English, German, Chinese, etc, etc. So that's quite handy. Probably worth looking through as well, because some of the things for maybe resetting it, so if you want to reset the Bluetooth, or you want to change the language of the actual notifications in the headset itself, then you might want to take use of those, although you can actually do pretty much everything in the standalone application, which you can download for iPhone or for Android users, and you can go in and tweak settings however you want to. We might take a little look at that a little bit later. It's a little bit sketchy. That is the one downside of these. The application, I feel, is a little bit on the kind of under polished side, let's say. Anyway, moving on to the unboxing. So as you can see, we've got the headphones in here. When it comes to connectivity, you've got the option for a 3.5mm headset jack, so you can use that. This is a TRRS, so it includes a microphone. So if you want to plug this into a mobile phone, there is a microphone built into there, so you can have your conversations as you would normally, or you can just plug it into a normal TRS device and just get the audio coming through your headphones. Nice braided cables, and also matching to the color actually of the headset, which is kind of nice. Also, there is a BOGO standard USB Type-C to Type-A cable for charging duties. Full charge on these, somewhere in the region of about 3 hours from completely flat, although realistically, getting them 120 hours on the go, you're probably only going to need to top them up every now and then anyway, so don't worry about that too much. They do suggest, actually, in the manual, if you can, use a charger with around about 2 amps on the output, if possible. That will make the charging obviously around about 3 hours. If you go lower, it's going to take longer. If you go higher, it's going to be slightly better. You get the general idea. Now, going back to what I said about traveling, and Ugly Bob on his travels there, actually comes with a airplane adapter as well. So if you want to use this on your flights, you can do, plug it in. You can use your own headphones rather than using the skanky ones they provide you on the airplane. And finally, we've got the headphones themselves, or headset itself. And it's come in this really nice kind of grey, gunmetal grey finish, which is like a satin finish. It does pick up a few marks, greasy marks from your fingers, etc., but it's not been too bad, considering I did have some coconut oil on my hands a little bit earlier, and doesn't seem to have transferred much, if at all. So that's pretty nice. So the headset itself, the band, very stretchy. Also quite a nice force as well, and very minimal creaking. There's a very slight amount of creaking there, but they've actually got these kind of zero noise twists. So There's no real plastic squeaking or creaking, which is kind of nice. And that is just the noise of the plastic hitting the metal there. So aluminium frame all the way through. Some really, really nice deep padding on here. So you've got kind of PU leather. There is also some kind of memory foam in there, but actually it feels a lot softer than memory foam. It's like a very nice soft cushion. I do like that a lot. It's very comfortable to wear, even if you are follically challenged like myself. And that also translates down to the cups for the ears. Now these are over ear, so they will encase your ear entirely, which actually serves two purposes. One is for helping noise cancelling feature, and also it actually isolates the sound and creates a kind of like a vacuum in your ear, so you get nice bass responses, all that kind of stuff, which with some headphones you can. Over ear ones you generally don't, or on ear ones you don't get as much of a bass response, whereas these you do get a very heavy bass response. And actually what we're talking about, the frequency response of these is between 20 Hertz and 20 kilohertz. So full range spectrum there, hence why they get the high res badge on them, because they can produce all of those frequencies. Again, moves around nicely, no real creaking as such. Got some really nice foam on there which protects your ear from touching any of the speaker part inside. When it comes to the actual driver, it is I'm not too sure what the actual component is. On some places it said that it's carbon fiber. I don't think it's going to be carbon fiber. On another place it says it's a bio-weave carbon. So I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it sounds good, so I don't really care, to be honest with you. It's a 40mm driver in there, which is a dual cone setup, from what we've been led to believe. Unfortunately, the padding is unable to come out, or I haven't been able to pull it out. I think that will damage it, and these aren't removable, so unfortunately we're unable to get some close-ups, but besides that, they sound absolutely fantastic, as you'd expect from this kind of headset. And also, price-wise, we haven't discussed that at all yet, really. These, at the moment, you can pick up on places like AliExpress for somewhere in the region of about £30 to £40, depending on when it is in the year and what discounts and offers are on. So price-wise, a lot of features on here which you would not expect at this kind of price point, which is really good. And also, the construction quality is absolutely excellent. It's very stretchy. Also, the headband has got some adjustment, in case you're wondering. So, and that's actually nice clicky ratchet, and the last bit kind of really snaps into place, which, yeah, gives it a nice solid feel to it. I like that a lot. Some of these slightly cheaper off-brand items, they do feel a little bit creaky and plasticky, but this actually, yeah, feels very nice, and you've got that on both sides, as you would expect. So moving around to the actual ear cups and what's going on. So there's actually 5 microphones built into this for the noise cancelling feature, 2 of which are kind of obvious. So there's little grills there at the top. So basically what it does, I hate to say it because everyone's doing it, but it uses some kind of algorithm, and they put the AI logo on it saying it's an AI algorithm. But technically, I guess all algorithms to some extent are AI, but I digress. So you have got noise cancelling in there, up to 52 decibels of noise cancelling. So it's not going to block out absolutely everything, but things like the low rumble on a plane, a train, a car, if you're going down the street, walking along, it's going to drown out most of the traffic noise. Some things you are going to be alerted to, so obviously some things will come through. Sharp bangs, that sort of thing, will generally come through because it's a little bit quicker than the AI algorithm can actually identify and isolate. Also, there are 3 modes. So you've got the ANC off, you've also got ANC on, and also there's ANC transparency mode. And I've got to be honest with you, all of the modes work absolutely fantastically. Very, very pleased. The ANC technology has come a very long way in a very short time, and I'm very pleased to say these, I would say, they're not quite Sony levels, but they're very, very close. And some of the other slightly lesser known, but well recommended brands that we've reviewed on the channel previously, I would say it's equally on par with those, if not potentially slightly better. So going back to the actual cups and the controls, so we'll start off with this one. So we've got another little microphone there, so that is for your actual voice microphone. So if you want to use this for doing calls, etc., you can do. I will say, I think the microphone that's built in is a little bit on the quiet side in terms of the recordings that I've got out of it so far on my iPhone. And in fact, let's have a little listen to that now, and you can hear what it sounds like and let me know what you think. If there's any adjustment done in post-production in Adobe Premiere, I'll put that on the screen as well, so you know how much I've had to level it up in order to get it to be the same as my voice through this camera.
This is a voice recording of the Picun F6 headset, currently recording on the voice recorder application in the Apple iPhone XR. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Hopefully this audio sounds crisp and clear and doesn't have a great deal of Bluetooth interference.
So there you go, there is the sound test. Not too bad. I think it's actually quite passable, a little bit on the low side, I think, personally, but let me know what you think. Next to the microphone there is an LED, so that tells you whether it's on or off or charging, etc. Next to that, you've got the 3.5mm jack, so you can plug it in to other devices there, wired. I will say, when it's in wired mode, you basically lose almost all functionality. You still get that really great sound quality, but you lose the ANC and you also lose the 3D surround and also the head tracking. So none of those features are available. Also, when you do plug in the 3.5mm jack, it will automatically turn off the Bluetooth. So if they're currently in the on mode and you switch over, plug it in, it will turn these off. Also, for those that are wondering, the USB Type-C jack, which is next to it, you cannot use these whilst charging. That doesn't work at all. You can't even turn them on while they're charging. Whilst charging, basically nothing, so unusable, which is a little bit of a shame, but again, 120 hours lifetime. I'm guessing even a quick charge is going to give you kind of an hour or so's usage should you need to in a pinch. Next to that, you've got the on-off button that doubles up as a multifunction as you would expect. So if you're on your phone, call goes, press the button, answer, press it again, end the call, that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be play, pause, press and hold, all those kinds of usual things. Next to that, you've got the volume rocker, which is actually quite nice. I like the fact they've done that quite nice and chunky and big, so there's going to be very few mispresses, which is quite handy. Again, press and hold to skip tracks, all that kind of usual stuff you'd expect with a wireless headset over Bluetooth. And the last one is the ANC button. So press it once. Normally, default thing is it's going to be off. Press it once, it will say ANC on in a very nice English voice, or you can have it so it says it in Chinese voice if you want to. The choice is up to you, but it says what it's doing. So if you don't want to use the application, you just want to use the headset as it is. When you turn the power on, it says power on. When you press the power button a long time to turn it off, it says power off. ANC on, ANC off, ANC transparency mode. It tells you exactly what's going on, so you haven't kind of got to guess too much, which is unfortunate because on the flip side of it, literally on the other side, there is a single button on its own, which is the 3D sound button. So that's got 3 modes. So the first one is 3D mode off. Press it again and you get the 3D sound effect, which actually does widen out the sound stage quite considerably. And actually, I prefer it with the 3D mode on, especially for music. For the spoken word, not quite so good. It does give it a little bit of too much reverb for my liking, but you may appreciate that, you may not. Let me know in the comments. Press it again and it goes into head tracking mode. So basically the 3D mode then, if you turn your head to the left gets louder. If you turn your head to the right gets louder. So I'm not too sure in what context that would actually be used, because if you're playing a game, you're using these on your computer for instance, you'd have to have a Bluetooth adapter on your PC, which most do these days. But if you're playing a game, it's rare that you actually look fully to one side or other. I've not really tested it in great depth in the gaming kind of configuration, which is a shame actually, because they do actually have a gaming mode as well, which promises up to or lower than 40 millisecond latency. So for gaming, there is actually a gaming mode which you can enable, which again, you can use with the head tracking mode. So maybe a little move to the left or to the right will increase the sound one way or the other. So if there are footsteps coming up behind you or to the side of you, then maybe it will increase that volume a little bit to allow you to focus on it. Be interesting to test that actually. I might do that in a standalone video. So anyway, that is the modes for the 3D. I think that is kind of pretty much it. I've gone over most things. I suppose we should talk about the weight. So 300 grams. So they're not lightweight, but they're not particularly heavy either. I would say the only thing, if you're going to wear them for a long time, if you're in a very hot place or somewhere which is very humid, these bands or this kind of fake plastic leather, whatever it is, PU leather, it does get a little bit sweaty, as you'd expect. Kind of skin on plastic, it's going to end up sweaty sooner or later. I use these for somewhere in the region of about an hour, hour and a half, maybe slightly longer, and it was getting to the point where it's getting a little bit sweaty, but I guess that is par for the course, unless you're using some kind of foam, which material will breathe a little bit easier. These don't breathe quite as well, but extremely comfortable. ridiculously comfortable. In fact, the cushioning on it is very, very nice, very supple indeed. How long that will last, I cannot tell you. Impossible to say. They could last a very long time. They could peel straight away. It all depends on many different things, including what the kind of the sweat coming out of you is like and its pH levels and all that kind of stuff. Science, basically. So we won't go too far into that. Other things that we should mention as well, it will pair with 2 devices at the same time. So you can pair it with maybe your PC and your phone at the same time, or your laptop and your phone, combinations of, so you can switch between the 2 should you wish to, or have both connected so you still get your incoming calls, which is a nice feature. Don't always get that on these more cost-effective units. So I'll put these down on the desk and we'll talk a little bit about the application. So you can go over to the App Store or the iTunes Store. You can download the Picun application, you can install it. The downside for me is I found that the majority of it was in Chinese, which is problematic because I don't really do Chinese. You can kind of blag your way through it, and it's actually quite a shame because there are some really nice features in there. Lots of things you can change, lots of things for like 3D settings, and obviously turning on things like the ANC, the pass-through. There's also equalizer modes as well, so there's a bunch of built-in presets for equalization, which you can then tweak a manual one if you want to get the sound to your liking. Maybe you don't like overly bass-heavy headsets, in which case you can reduce the bass should you wish to. There's also a cool feature in there, which is the kind of white noise thing. So if you're one of those people that struggles to get asleep, maybe you're on a journey and you want to get some sleep, you can put on one of the various presets. So there's various things like the ocean, the waves lapping up on the beach, somewhere out in the woods, the sky, yeah, basically all kinds of different things. The usual kind of stuff you'd expect for helping you trying to get to sleep, like thunderstorms, rain, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to use those are in the app, but the app I'd say is a little bit problematic. You can actually use the app without having an account. They do like you to sign up for an account, which these days I think is not a great thing. I'd love to be able to have an application and just use it without having to set up an application, but they do want you to do that. They do want you to have a username, password, etc. But you can bypass it. You have to press this button twice to bypass it should you want to. So that is a little bit unfortunate. I think the only downside of these really, other than potentially this kind of sweaty nature of the PU plastics, is the application. The app definitely needs some polishing, but in terms of the actual headset itself, its comfort, the sound quality, and obviously the amount of technology which has been sandwiched into this thing is insane, and all at a ridiculously low price. So I think for somewhere between sort of £30 and £40, depending when you're shopping, I think these are an absolute steal. They really are. The sound quality is phenomenal. The 3D effects and the noise cancelling is excellent. Even the transparency mode, which a lot of these devices struggle with transparency, but this seems to do it actually fantastically well. So there you go, there are my thoughts and findings on the Picun F6. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, smash the like button. If you want to see more content of this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.